Hey, beautiful people, welcome back to Linux Weekly, Daily Wednesdays, where we sit back, relax, take that mid-week break, talk about some of the fun things going on in the world of Linux. I'm Vince Stone, that is Joe Bryan, talking to everybody live over on Twitch. Come check us out live, 3 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays, if you dare. Double dare you. Or not, yes. Whatever. Listen to the show. Watch it on YouTube. Go to our YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel just for the show, by the way. If you're like, why have I not been seeing weekly, daily, Wednesday videos on Linux Gamecast? It's because we moved them there like 3 months ago, but I'm horrible at marketing. So every now and then I like to remind you that there is a LWDW YouTube page.
Yeah, we have our own YouTube channel. Yay!
Yeah.
After all these years.
Things, man. Getting right onto it. Jill is here for the final installment of the 2025 scale recap.
Yeah.
What you got for us this week, Jill?
Okay, so yeah, scale, as I said last week, scale 22X was incredible. Make sure to watch my review here on LWW last week so you can see all the exciting events that happened at scale, people I met, and all the pictures. And I just wanted to do a quick shout out right now to my Steve husband. I forgot to mention him last week. He has such a huge, awesome contribution to the Southern California Linux Expo, or Scale 22X this year, and every year is Scale. Without him, my Linux Chick-fil-A booth would never happen. He transports me and my friends and all the goodies needed for the booth to Scale every year, which is an hour there and home each day. Yes, we commute to Scale, and he helps us set up and performs the duty of working the booth beautifully. And Steve's husband is always the main speaker at our raffle and gets the crowd excited as they show up to our booth every year, hoping to win a prize. So he does such a great job at that. And thank you, hubby, for all you do. Without you, Scale wouldn't happen at the scale it happens. I thought he would like that. Yay. So, next up is Monica. As I said last week, me and Monica Aans Madden, my bestie from Atlanta who works at Thunderbird, and I had a marvelous high tea and English sandwiches for lunch at the Tea Rose Garden, once again in downtown Pasadena by Scale. We're making that an annual event. Woohoo! I just love it. It's one of the few times I actually get to talk with her, just me and her as girls and girls in the Linux community, and I don't get to spend a lot of private time with her. So other than, of course, we chat online a lot, as much as we can. And, she came bearing lots of incredible gifts for me from Ubuntu Summit 2024 that was held October 25th through the 27th, 2024 at The Hague, Netherlands. She is so thoughtful, and I am so honored and overwhelmed with happiness. Like the shirt I am wearing now, which features a white stork in natural colors holding a black eel. And it is on the coat of arms of The Hague and is the official symbol of the city. So that's why Ubuntu Summit chose to use that logo on all their merch and swag. So she gave me, I'm going to show you a lot of things that she gave me and tell you about them. This Ubuntu Summit black, excuse me. Okay, so this is a black warm beanie with an Ubuntu logo on the front, and this is really, really awesome. And I've never had an Ubuntu beanie. And here is the Ubuntu Summit 2024 tote bag that Monica put all my goodies in. And see, it's bearing the beautiful bird.
Yeah, it looks like a duck with a mustache standing on a pizza.
Yeah, it does. The pizza actually has the Ubuntu logo in it, but it's kind of hard. It's really light orange on there. And gosh, there's so many goodies. and 2 Ubuntu pins like this, only available at Ubuntu Summit. So I got 2 of those, and she gave me 4 stickers, and the stickers have the logo too, and I already have one on my cabinet. Of course, Monica. In fact, it's right there. And the big thing, I mean, these are all really incredible, but the big thing is this cute little ceramic penguin with a flourish of dry wheat. She got me at a local shop in the Netherlands by the Ubuntu Summit. Isn't it just so cute? And she just sent me pictures of a bunch of people at Ubuntu Summit that hugged it and kissed it like Martin Wimpress kissed it. It was so cute. I've got the awesome pictures that Monica sent me, and I will share them next week. And this little penguin is so cute, and I'm going to be putting it right over there, right by the other little penguin from last year she gave me. Okay, so that was incredible, and then an incredible gift. And then she had many awesome Linux people sign a penguin card for me, wishing I could be with them all at the Ubuntu Summit. And here's the cute little card, and it says, "To Jill, your friends at the Ubuntu Summit." And Till from Open Computing signed it, and he also drew me a cute little printer. It's so cute. And Eric from Ubuntu Studio. Me and Ven have talked about Ubuntu Studio quite a bit here on the show. And that was really nice to meet Eric for the first time at Scale, at this year's Scale. And Aggie's on here, Glorious Egg Roll, who I see at Scale every year, the last few years. And Graham from the Late Night Linux podcast and signed it as well. And Ubuntu staffers Lucy, Nathan, and of course, Monica. But it's so cute. Look at all that. That's just, I mean, it's so special, and I'm so honored. And you might remember, because last year I talked about this on LWDW from after the last Scale. Monica, Matthew, and Strykor of Lutris in chat, and Till honored me with this cute little penguin sitting right in front of my other penguin plushies. And it's this one right here that I was pointing to earlier. See, it's front and center. And they had sent me that because I couldn't attend the Ubuntu Summit in 2023. Well, you know, this year Monica did the same because I couldn't attend the Ubuntu Summit 2024. So she, like an amazing friend, just gave me so many gifts. And this cute little pink ceramic penguin is so adorable. It's going to go right there. Yay! Wow. So that was why I couldn't. Last week, I wanted more time to talk about all the gifts that Monica gave me. So I that's why we have part 2 of the Scale this week.
But we got it in.
We got it in.
Snuck it in. It's all in one piece now. So if you missed out last week from part 1, roll it back, give that a watch. Go check it out on YouTube. All the stuff is in video motion pixel. Goodness.
Yes.
No, I teased a little something. I've been waiting on something to show up. It went around the country. Not around the country, but it went right by my house to the bottom of the United States. And they're like, wait a minute. We missed a stop. So it's about a week late.
Mm-hmm.
What am I talking about? Well, I got a little thing here.
Yeah.
I'm holding up. Yeah, it's just like a little NVMe drive, right? Huh.
Ooh,
got a big old heat sink on it. And then it's got like 2 other ports on it. And it's got a bunch of dip switches in the middle of it. And about that time, you realize it's probably not a NVMe drive. Like, no, it's not, because it came from Magewell. Magewell does not make NVMe drives. They make capture cards. But it's an M.2. Capture card? I don't know. Might be something to it. It's a Magewell piece. I got a couple of hot product shots of it over on the Interfacing Linux forum, where I got a just an ongoing thread of upcoming projects. Something I'm working on. This is going to be kind of fun. Something a little unique. Something a little bit different. You're used to thinking about capture cards as USB. You might have like a big chunky one. But what about one that you could put in something like that HP Elite Desk? The super slim one. And
we love those.
Yeah. Might be fun. Stay tuned for that over on Interfacing Linux. I'll be talking about more and more of those types of fun little motion pixel grabbing bits. But let's go ahead and hop into it this week with Kernel 6.14. It is out. It's got a bunch of neat things in it. And there's even a little bit of gaming stuff in there, along with some XFS goodness.
Yeah, so exciting. As there is in every release of the Linux kernel 6.14 has been released with some very cool new features, hardware enablement, and enhancements for our favorite operating system, Linux. One of my favorite new features, and one that us Linux gamers will love, there is a new NT-Sync driver working for emulating Windows NT synchronization primitives, which will enhance the Wine and Steam gaming performance of Windows games on Linux and give us even better frame rates. Woohoo! So the creator of this patch, Elizabeth Figura, said she saw many games improve frame rates of 50 to 150%, which is insane and would put Linux's game performance ahead of Windows on many games even more than it does now. But Ven has something very important to tell you about these statistics.
You got to keep everything in mind. You got to keep everything in perspective, because I thought, this was posted over at omg and ubuntu.co.uk. And I know the internet is, because like the people behind this stuff are like vibrating with like, just so we're perfectly clear, because the NT-Sync, it has better compatibility than what we traditionally think of as like with F-Sync, slightly better compatibility. But when benchmarked against F-Sync, marginally faster. We're not talking 50 to 100% faster. That 50 to 100% faster number comes from if you're not running anything, if you're not running F-Sync. And chances are you're running F-Sync. Why? Because it's on by default with Proton. So I don't want anybody loading up kernel 6.14 going, where's my 50 to 150% in my gaming? It's not going to be there. It's still a good thing. You're going to see better compatibility. But I don't think people have gotten that perfectly clear. And I think that is the technically correct way of explaining it. Hopefully, I'm sure somebody will be more than happy to correct me if I got something wrong. But yeah, I don't want people to be like, where's my performance gains? I'm like, cut off F-Sync, which you might currently be using, then you'll see it. But yeah, I'm a big fan of accuracy, and hopefully I put a fine enough point on that. But it's still a good thing, though, because in select titles, you're still seeing a nice little bump. And this is something that's been in the works for a while, and it's going to be in the kernel. You're not going to be reliant on having Proton, having eSync enabled. I don't know. Still pretty neat, but that's far from the only thing in 6.14, though.
Yeah. There is also the AMD XDNA accelerator driver is now mainline for enabling the Ryzen AI NPUs, or neural processing units, under Linux. That's always a wonderful thing. The AMD XDNA accelerator was very important for the future of Linux. And there is now support for the SpaceMint K1 chip, which is the 64-bit RISC-V chip in the Ubuntu-powered RISC-V tablet from Deep Computing that we have talked about here on LWDW. Also, there is a ton of newly supported devices that we would like to use on a daily basis in this Linux kernel 6.14 release, including the RTL8812AU Wi-Fi adapter USB 3 support, which I have one of those, and now I have support under Linux. Support for the SteelSeries Arctis 9 wireless gaming headset. Support for the Asus TUF Gaming X670E Plus motherboard. That's very important. more support for 8-bit do controllers, which I love because I use 8-bit do controllers. Support for the AWINC AW88083, Realtek ALC 56821-VE sound chips that are available in some laptops. The Focusrite Scarlett 4th Gen 16i16, 18i16, and 18i20 interfaces. That's a really big deal. And power management, suspend, resume support for Raspberry Pi devices. Also, for more goodness for gaming, the XPad driver now supports unofficial Xbox 360 wireless receiver clones. The Nacon Evol X Xbox One and the Nacon Pro compact controllers are now supported, and the Nintendo Switch 6-button Sega controller is now supported. Wow, we got lots of gaming love in this release. This is so awesome. And there's just so much more. We can't cover it all here on LWW. We could spend 2 hours on it, all the new features. So check out our show notes for all the links and details. And the Linux kernel 6.14 will be included in Ubuntu 25.04 released next month, for Fedora 42 and other distros released in the spring. And something I'm excited about, Ubuntu 24.04 LTS will get Linux kernel 6.14 later this year with its new cadence of hardware enablement updates. Woohoo!
Oh,
That's
it's
so
neat.
wonderful.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm running it right now because I'm running Debian 12 stable.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. We still know how to build kernels.
Yes.
Pretty cool. Big chunk of things to see. Go check out the show notes over on the Linux Gamecast. There will be a link in the description, and yeah, go play around with it. Now, something we've joked about is Haiku, right? Haiku operating system. You know, BOS, right? Way back in the day.
BOS.
Go look at some of those early BOS demos and look at the hardware that those systems are running on. They were anemic. You know, they would be anemic compared to a Raspberry Pi these days.
Yeah.
But look at all the wild stuff BOS was doing, which later became Haiku. You know, really great at multitasking. And, you know, it's still like the underground. You know, Linux is too mainstream. There's too many video. Man, you can download and play schemes on Linux. Yeah, dude. Way too mainstream, man. You know, just all the normies are running Linux now. So you need something a bit edgier. Haiku's got you covered, but there's been a problem with Haiku. Same problem that Linux had in like 20 years ago. Drivers, you know, video drivers.
Yeah.
AMD's got, and Intel's like, Nvidia's been like, man, don't even waste your time. Until now. This is where it gets kind of interesting because, well, gaming might come to Haiku, everybody. Haiku porting the Nvidia GPU driver. This happened, man. A while back, Nvidia kind of sort of open sourced their drivers a little bit, you know, if you squint, at least the kernel driver bits. And we have all the work that's been done on the Nvidia Vulkan driver over on the Mesa land, you know, by the fine cannibals over at Calabra. Well, with a bit of hard work, user X512 was able to hammer out an NVRM kernel driver for Haiku with extraordinarily basic and emphasis on the basic Vulkan support. But if we scroll down, keep going. Oh, we got some Vulkan gears showing up. This is so wild. You know, like Linux, these drivers are only going to support your Turing Plus, so your 20 series and above NVIDIA cards, because that's how NVIDIA is rolling with this stuff. And yeah, like next thing you know, these weird Haiku people are going to be running the video games too, and it's going to be madness. Then where do we go? We'll have to go back to Open Solaris if that's still around.
There we go.
I love stuff like this. You know, I got into this. I got interested in Linux because it was an alternate operating system. Windows really wasn't omnipresent back then. You know, I was running DOS on my PC, and I was like, I want something different. I wanted to play with Unix. Couldn't afford Unix. We didn't have that kind of money. Minix wasn't really well known, Linux, and I'm like, and so I still have a lot of love for projects like Haiku, alternate operating systems, and the love and attention and work that have gone into them, and knowing that somebody is sitting there and being able to tie the bits together, and same love for the BSDs, BSD like never really took off. It's kind of weird. Never took, I was about to say, took off on the desktop like Linux. And you're like, come on, man. I'm like, well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Oh, Haiku is out there. And if you have an Nvidia card in your system, you can load up some Vulkan demos. I'm just going to keep an eye on this. I thought this was worth a mention. Why? Because it's very, very neat.
Yeah. And it's probably one of the first times I've heard that the open source bits for NVIDIA are being utilized in a project on the scale.
Outside of Linux.
Yeah, outside of Linux, of course. Yes. Somebody's
doing something with it. I'm curious, how everything's flying around with BSD. This is where I wish I had infinitely more time to go play around with this stuff. Because now, when you install the NVIDIA drivers, even the closed source, they're prompt you hey, do you want to use the proprietary NVIDIA stuff, or do you want to use the MIT license? It's right there in the installer, and you compile them.
Yeah.
And they work.
That's nice.
Yeah, wild time. Really like to see it. Now, something I'm familiar with and I have trust issues with, you can't see it, but over on this wall, there's a industrial grade MikroTik Wi-Fi access point, designed for I think it can handle 200 plus connections at one time.
Wow.
It's silly. It's ridiculous, but I got it for $2 on a taco on eBay. And I'm like, great. And I hooked it up and I'm like, now I got to run power to it. And I was like, power adapter. Now I got a cable running down the wall that I got to run because, it's up in the studio. It's up towards the top. And I'm like, I don't want to deal with it. Oh, it supports power over Ethernet. I don't trust power over Ethernet, but it turns out I got a power over Ethernet router, MikroTik. And I plugged it in and I've been worried about it ever since, Jill. And if you don't know about PoE, you can send some voltage through your Ethernoodles, power the device on the end. And now Raspberry Pi is going to make that a little bit easier, huh?
I know. This is just so awesome. This is such a great price for something a lot of us users need from time to time. Raspberry Pi just announced a new device to add power over Ethernet support to your network for only $25. And according to their website, the Raspberry Pi PoE Plus injector is described as a single port 30-watt injector suitable for powering devices conforming to the IEEE 802.3AF and the 802.3AT specifications, including all generations of Raspberry Pi PoE hat, and it's available for $25. Yay. And it's actually very well designed, takes up little space, and is perfect for those projects where power is hard to reach. And in Ven's case with his MikroTik. This is awesome. So the Raspberry Pi single board computers have been able to function as a powered device since 2018, as long as you equipped it with an optional PoE or PoE Plus hat. And you can pick one up now from the usual Raspberry Pi approved resellers, including PiShop.us, Kanakit, and Vilros, and I'm sure more will be coming soon. So I was really happy when I saw this on the Raspberry Pi news blog, because this is something a lot of people need for their projects.
Yes, you're right. We need purple Ethernet cables. 100%.
Yeah, that's awesome. I have pink ones. Here.
I don't. You know what? I have pink fiber optic cables. I have some OM4 back there. That is,
nice.
Pink-ish, and I have teal or blue. I don't know. I'm a dude. It's blue. And I got red Ethernet cables because my red Ethernet cables are I broke something. Anyway, how much is this thing? It's $20 for a PoE hat. So you got this guy, and how much was this guy? $25?
$25.
All right, so 40 plus some shipping. You got a PoE solution for your Raspberry Pi, which you're well, I could just get maybe you want to put your Raspberry Pi 4 in your attic for no reason whatsoever. Then you can just run one cable up there and worry about it.
Yeah, so cool.
It's a great technology. It legitimately keeps me up at night knowing that I have electricity running through this thing, and I'm like, never catch it. It won't.
Yeah.
Hopefully. And it does
Hopefully.
support both standards, 13 watt and 25 watt. So you're going to be good there. And they are still working because I went looking up like, have they released a PoE hat for the Raspberry Pi 5? No, they have not released
Not
one
yet.
for the Pi 5 yet.
Yeah.
There's
It's
no
coming.
official Pi 5 PoE hat. And one thing, you need the IEC C13 power cable. So go to your closet or go to your box, because if you're like me, those things multiply when you're not watching them. I've been over it multiple times. We're talking about the power supply cable, PC power supply cable. How many dozens of those do you have? Like, I know just in this tech closet, I have like the right side of one of the rails just with those cables on it. And like,
Yeah.
I have no idea. I have never bought one in my entire life, man. And I probably have 30 of them just like laying around.
Easily.
So
Yeah.
I think that's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. Good on them for that. Still not going to make me trust PoE for no other reason than just old man Vin. I'm scared of this fancy electricity thing. And,
Yeah.
there you go, man. I think it's pretty wild. And it's very affordable. Here's my big takeaway from it. If you're looking, especially when you're buying stuff like that, a PoE injector, let's say you want to power a PoE device and you don't have a PoE router. So that's what this is. Like, my router just has PoE out on it. I don't need like none of this between it. I just plug the cable in, it sends the power out. This is going to allow you to just send it through anything. You plug it in one side, the other end, you get the power coming out of it. You probably, even with stuff that is not necessarily like, I'm not using Raspberry Pi stuff. The one thing I've always said about the stuff that they've released, their accessories, there's a good chance it's been tested compared to the other stuff that you're going to find on eBay, on Amazon, on AliExpress. Like, far less chance of it catching on fire, more than likely. So it's a name you can trust. At least they've tested it. Yeah, I said the same thing about as silly as I thought it was with the Raspberry Pi branded micro SD cards. And at least you're going to be getting a legitimate card from them, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Stay on the positive side of that. Now, has anybody here heard of a Twitch? Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
One or two?
Our viewers are watching us on Twitch right now.
They will bore you to tears for 10 to 15 minutes about their elaborate setup, about how they have it proxied and relayed, and they're watching through VLC or something like that.
Yeah, there's that.
Like,
yeah.
Okay, that's cool, bro. If not, Twitch used to have a category dedicated to touching grass that I enjoyed watching. It was just called Travel and Outdoors. They've just smashed that into the IRL category in real life, which is kind of a shame, because IRL is just, people running about doing, it's people touching grass, but I like the travel outdoor stuff, like people actually like camping and doing stuff like that. Anyway, just people out and about, going about their lives, being all live, doing live people stuff, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And you might have noticed, a lot of them have on a backpack of some types of sorts with a streaming rig, like, oh, they're talking about their streaming rig. More often than not, what you might find inside of that backpack is a Bella box. This little guy right here. Now, originally, if you look to the right there, you're like, hey, that's a Jetson Nano, man, with like a 3, 4, 5G modem, HDMI encoder plugged into it. But now we got options, because I might have been contacted with a very short notice by a friend that needed to stream some stuff in the middle of a field or a concert. And I'm like,
yeah,
how much money you got to work with? And they're like, about $350. And I'm like, uh-oh. So I went and checked this out. And Bella Box now works, which I didn't know about. This could have been, this could have happened 50 years ago. But the last time I checked, they now work with a Rockchip 3588 power devices. That means they're going to work with an Orange Pi 5 Plus, like I did the video on. You can play your Steam games on your Rock 5 and also do your streaming rig. Rasta Rock 5, the Rock 5Bs, the Banana Pis.
Ooh,
all of this
works on mine, Banana Pie.
Yeah. Bellbox.net. And I think this is pretty cool, man. And like, unlike the Jetson, the Nano, the Rockchip boards, they can do 4K 60. if you want to do that type of ingestion there. And they have most of the 3588s, like all the ones I have, like the Rock 5 ITX Plus and the Banana Pi. Plus, they have HDMI encoders built on the boards, which is neat. Did I mention all of this is open source too? There's GitHub.
Yeah.
To get this, you can download the images, plop them on, slap on some cellular modems, plug in a cam link, and just head out and about.
This is amazing.
Big fan of like a do-it-yourself, like mobile streaming solution that you can slap together for like 100 to 150 bucks. I think that is insanely cool, especially when you think about things like the gun and run, the IRL backpacks, like the one, if you go to the IRL backpack store and you're like, hello, sir, I would like one IRL backpack. And you're like, well, we have the latest V7 model starting at $2,600.
Yes.
Starting. You're like, wait a minute. I think I could do a bit better than that. And this is something that you can put together at home. And, you know, of course, there's like loads and loads of, there's a huge community behind this. If you've ever been thinking about taking your streaming out and about and you wanted something a bit more flexible than like your phone, you know, your phone might be a good solution, might overheat, you might lose it. But yeah, this is pretty good and it's considerably cheaper. And we've come so very far from, you know, the old LiveView backpacks that you couldn't even buy. You had to rent them.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Ven years ago, this has been like 10 to 15 years ago, and This Week in Tech, Leo Laporte's network got their first one, and they spent like 30 grand on it.
Yeah, being able,
yeah.
Times have changed, and this is one of the things that the times have definitely changed.
Yeah.
For the better, you know, being able to stick something like this together is just really cool.
Yeah.
Be, you know, bellabox.net. Go check it out. You know, they got a bunch of, you know, IRL toolkit, cloud OBS hosting. They got a couple of sponsors and like everything that it works on. They got a nice wiki. They got a Discord, of course, GitHub as well. Go check it out for the next time you're out and about. And you're like, I would like the live stream, but I want to do more than just hold my phone up and be like, hello, everybody. I'm on my phone. You know, if you want, this is great. If you also like want to have a laptop with a bunch of cameras hooked up to it and like running OBS, you know, this is just your ingestion point to the network. Pretty cool, man.
This is amazing. And I was also really impressed that it supports bonding of multiple modems and network connections. Because finding an open source solution that would do bonding as well has been a little hard to come by. So this is really cool. I knew someone who was struggling with that software before on another device they were building to do IRL streaming, and that was always the issue. Was the IRL, the bonding was always an issue.
Cool. Fun times. All right, beautiful people. That's going to do it for this week. You like what we do? Of course. Thank you. Share the show. Tell people about it. Give it a retoot. Is that what this, are they still going with toots over on the Mastodons?
Yes. Well, it's called publish now. Yeah, or post.
I have no idea.
I still call them toots.
We're on Mastodon. We're on Blue Sky. We got all of our social stuff down under the YouTube video if you want to give that a click and come follow us. But yeah, we appreciate it. And if you want to become one of our patrons, one of our beautiful party people, Shenanigan Financing over on Linux Gamecast, patreon.com/Linux Gamecast. Get the live and uncut version of the show, pre-show, post-show, show, all together in a convenient podcast format, along with a live and uncut video. You know, sometimes we got to trim it down we were about right. I always like calling out the time. We're about 34 minutes in. So if you're like, look at it, you're like, wait a minute, this is only 20 minutes long. Well, there's more to be watched. You never know. And access to our super secret Discord where we're at the other 6 days of the week, talking smack, having a good time. And just a bunch of other things. A big sloppy thank you, along with your name in the credits. It's a good time, everybody. And come check us out live right here on Twitch, 3 p.m.
Or 12 p.m. Pacific for me.
Specific time.
Specific.
All right, let's roll those credits.
Thank you to our advisor, Artherin, and our executive producers. Here's some of them. Drummer, the Targos, Barbrandt, Scott M. Our Chicago Kicks Mules level, Glorious Egg Roll. Our Sea Monsters, Writer X Mishana. I only got one there. Our Death Notes, our Chairlings, and the people we have in chat, like Monica and Justin. They're all our patrons. And Daisy Bobs, and
Ladies
my
and
Steve
gentlemen.
husband.
Boys and girls. Zombie demon over the internet. You know we love you. Get out there.
Yeah.
Get the rest of the week. Go knock it out. Have some fun. Bye-bye.
And keep those penguins marching.